Then actually the third year of that job was really hard. I had a lot of issues, the chair was bothering me, it wasn't comfortable. So I switched like 4 chairs. And then they're like, what are you doing? And then I was like, oh man, my neck is hurting, my back is hurting, like everything's wrong. And then actually I'm like, hey, I don't think I can work here anymore. I'm having too many issues with my boss. She's like, don't worry, Kevin. Like, we need you, man. Like, you're really important. I will put you on 3-month disability, and you can come back in 3 months. I was like, oh, okay, cool. But I don't think that really solved anything. So, but I did that, and then I got my psychiatrist to write it. So I did take a break for 3 months, but when I went back, it was still the same problems. And then I started becoming not very focused at work, and I couldn't really do well, and I was late sometimes, so then eventually they laid me off, which I thought was for the best, because that job wasn't suited for me anyways. So, and then after that, that was 2011. That was like 2014, yeah, that I got laid off in September. And then right away, then I actually went back to Cranbrook. Yeah, I talked to my friend Armando, and I'm like, is Cranbrook still, are they hiring right now, And then, so then I pretty much went back to Cranbrook to work part-time, which I was like, this is very suitable, this is nice. And so then I started working back at Cranbrook. I was like, this is definitely more suitable. I guess for normal people, they're like, it's very little hours, but for me, it's pretty suitable because I tend to get very overstressed and anxious very easily. And, but I think through the 3 years of that job, I think it kind of hurt me a lot because I was always anxious, and just very stressed out, and I just pushed through it, but I think I was doing damage to my body. And through the job, I gained 60 pounds, and then, so I went back to Cranbrook This is the 3rd year back, still doing it, and I love it. And then something else hit me. 2016, February, which is this February, which is about like 8 months ago. 8 months ago. I was kind of concerned because in the last a year and a half, I've been losing a lot of weight. I lost about 60 pounds without trying, and my appetite was getting bad. And I felt like something was wrong with it. I felt fine, but people were telling me to get tested, like physical, maybe something could be going on. I didn't really want to because I don't like to go to the doctors. I'm scared of them. So. But in February of this year, I decided to go get a physical with my primary care doctor. And he did everything, he still fine. Then he's like, okay, take the slip to go get some blood work done at the lab. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, okay, I'm probably not going to do that. So I kept that slip for 3 weeks. I didn't go. And then finally, for that week somehow, God was talking to me. He was telling me, Kevin, you should go. You really should. Usually I don't really feel that kind of stuff. I feel like I'm not that, I feel like God doesn't really talk to me. And there's not a certain urge to do something, but that week I felt like he was talking to me and urging me to go get that blood work because, just like a really big sense. So I got the blood work done. I believe it was a Wednesday morning. It was snowing really, really, really hard that day. And I got it done, then I went to work. And then the doctor called me at work. He's like, Kevin, you need to go to the emergency room right now. I was like, oh, what's wrong? He's like, oh, your white blood cell count is 20 times higher than a normal person. I was like, oh, what does that mean? I was like, oh, don't worry, I'll just finish work and I'll go. He's like, no, you go right now. I was like, oh, okay. So then I talked to my boss and talked to my coworkers, and then they wanted my dad to go pick me up. They said I wasn't safe to drive, so I was starting to freak out. I was like, what is going on? What is this? In the car, my dad said more than likely it's leukemia, because unless you have a severe infection, it can't be that high, and I don't see you have an infection. So I was really panicking and freaking out. And then I went to the ER on that Wednesday night. That day, I think there was a huge snowstorm. It was like 7 feet of snow. It was crazy, a lot though, man. It was crazy. And then my dad took me there, and then they gave me some more tests, and they said, pretty sure it's leukemia. We just have to find out which type it is. If it's acute, which is fast acting, or chronic, which is the slower acting one. And I think on that time I just started crying. I was bawling out, crying. I was just so sad. I felt like, like my life could be over. Because I actually know many people who died from leukemia. So I was just very, very frightened, just really scared. And then my mom eventually came to the hospital too, because she was actually swimming before, but then she came, and then it was just a really hard time though. I felt like just so fragile. And then actually a lot of my friends came too, and the pastor's family, and like a lot of people came to visit me on like that day, which was like, a lot of snow, like crazy, and I felt so loved, but also just, so frightened for the future. Like before I kind of took my life for granted, but then now I'm like, I was just very scared, I was like, oh man, like, what do I do now? And then they did some more tests. They actually did a biopsy on my, back area. They later found out that it was chronic, it was CML, which is chronic myeloid leukemia, which is the slower acting one. And luckily I didn't have to do chemo or radiation, but I just need to take chemo pills for life. There's like a lot of side effects for it, but I feel like it's the best situation that could have come from it, And I was in the hospital for 3 days. In the 3 days, so many of my friends came to visit me and just comfort me, and just even play games with me. They brought some games and we just chilled and talked. Like, I was just so grateful. Because thinking, if this happened like 7 years ago, I pretty much had no one except for like my family. So I just felt really loved and just satisfied. I feel like through the grace of God, though, He gave me hope and He gave me all these friends, and He utilized me in a way that just actually for me to help other people with mental disorder, or people, because most people don't understand it, like if it's mental issues, like people just judge you and think you're weird, then you get isolated and pretty much you feel so alone and just so helpless, and people think you're weird. They pretty much just make fun of you and push you away. So that's a really hard situation. Also with social anxiety too, it's hard to break into groups because you don't know what to say. You're afraid people are going to judge you, and it's like I've actually dealt with social anxiety for a long time. Even now I do, but it's just like it's been a really tough battle, with that and panic attacks. But I feel like through that, God kind of leveled me. He gave me this condition, leukemia. But at the same time, He brought me out of this so fast too. And through this experience, I was so grateful to be alive. I feel like I won't take my life for granted anymore, because before, I even tried to kill myself, right? So I'm like, I didn't appreciate life. I didn't appreciate what God gave me. And pretty much all He sacrificed for us, dying on the cross for our sins, cleansing us, and, just always being there for us. And if you read in the Bible, just so much wisdom, and just giving us grace, and just bring people in our lives to comfort us, to have our backs, and just to guide us in times of hardship, I feel. Especially through these experiences, through high school, through like loneliness, no friends, hating the world, to suicide, to being locked up in a psychiatric hospital, to my dad getting really sick, cancer, then to me getting cancer, just through this, I've learned a lot, and I just feel like I could influence others, just like such as testimonies, or even having Bible study, or just talking to people who have issues, who people pretty much don't want to help. I want to try to help them, and just try to guide them, because I can understand what they've been through. I've been through that, and it's been rough, it's been a roller coaster, but I also feel that, it's taught me a lot, and I feel like through that, I've become a really good listener, and just been able to really be empathetic for others. So I pretty much, after the cancer, the diagnosis, I was pretty much put on medical leave for 2 months. So I was just recovering, and then after that, I went back to Cranbrook. And since then, I've switched a few medications. I found one that's better. There's still a lot of side effects, and with this medication and also the psychiatric medications, I'm constantly tired and constantly just very, very out of it. But I'm still grateful just, to be alive and to be able to function, and to be able to just spread the gospel, and just hang out with my friends, have good times, and also just talk about having meaningful conversations and just being able to, we can like pray together, and if we have problems, we can reach out to each other, which I think is amazing, because I've never had that before. So just feel really grateful for that. And yeah, so now it's been 8 months. I'm feeling pretty well. I guess just trying my best, to live every day. Just trying to be grateful every day. Take one step at a time. And sometimes when I compare myself to others, I feel kind of sad. Like I haven't accomplished too much. But like then when I like read scripture, where I pray to God, like I feel better, because it's not a competition really, and we should just try, to help one another, and I feel like be less judgmental and just be there for people. And yeah, I feel like God just gives us hope, like our whole family, like we've been through so much, and I was also always kind of like jealous of my brother, because he's like everything I'm not. He's 9 years younger than me, like he's pretty much good at everything, and he's physically really tough, mentally really tough. I feel like I'm mentally and physically really weak, and just little like big battles for like everything that bothers me from other people. They're like, this is not, but for me, it's like something. So sometimes I feel discouraged, but then I can just like read the Bible or talk to my friends and just be guided in the right direction. Like God speaks through it. And it's also interesting, right? For my dad's hip replacement, right? He got me that job at the orthopedic place. So just things like that. That's very interesting to me. And yeah, also my dad getting sick, right? Like, so he can pretty much help all those people around the U.S. or even in Taiwan or China. I feel like it's just a blessing, like that he can guide them because of what he's been through also. So just feel like just really grateful, that we can help others, and also just share our stories, of going through a lot of grief and sadness and darkness, and being able to come out of it like stronger and just being grateful and not taking anything for granted pretty much, and being able to just live one day at a time, just enjoy the little things, right? I realize it's all about enjoying the little things, like at the end of the day, things are gone, right? Cars, houses, clothing, like eventually they will be gone, they will deteriorate, right? But like, I just feel like, with God, I feel like I have a purpose. Recently, in the last 5 years, the book, A Purpose-Driven Life, I think I've read it probably more than like 8 times now. That book just really touches me, It gives me like promise and just gives me goals that I want to achieve. And it gives me a lot of great Bible verses that I just read again and again. It just gives me purpose, and hope. And through that, because before I was always pondering, what is my purpose in life, right? I live, and I die. Pretty much everything we achieve here on this earth will be gone eventually, right? It's all just temporary. So what's the purpose, right? I guess the purpose is for me at least, I feel, it's to serve God and live my life to the fullest, serve God how I can, and be able to spread the gospel, and maybe have Bible study, or just have people together, pray together, and just have community, and reach out to people, who are having issues or problems or feeling really alone, including others. And also, but just most importantly, being good listeners, being there for people. And also, if we do that, right, on earth, we glorify God and be there for God, and show that we are God's children, that we pretty much will spread the gospel. So I guess the ultimate purpose is for us to go to heaven, right, which is a beautiful place, and just a place where like for me, I just would love to go there, and to, because eventually here we will lose everything, right? Just in Matthew it says, do not store up your treasures on earth, store it up in heaven, where things don't rot, where things are just there forever, beauty is there. I remember that movie, Little Nicky, right? Remember Little Nicky with Adam Sandler? Like, I remember when Little Nicky went to heaven, it was just so beautiful, white everywhere, like pillows, fluffy stuff, and like, just amazingness. Like, I just can't wait, one day. Like, for me, the purpose is to just spread the gospel, and just share your experiences, and just be very honest with each other, and develop friendships that are, there for a lifetime, pretty much. Yes. I have a few Bible verses to share, like, through the last, I would say, 8 years that, really spoke to me. It really encourages me, in times of hardship.